Cheers to adulting.
Sláinte.
Woo!
Right? Is that how you say it?
Cilantro?
You know, the Celtic, like, sláinte?
I am a very bad Celt, so we'll go with yes.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
Said
I'm
the
terrible.
Mexican to the very pale
Very Irish, very fucking
Oh, you're not
Scottish.
that
Like,
pale. Well, I guess you are.
no, I'm pale.
I guess
am
if you
white.
like flash me right now,
Like-
you'll only know if you do it.
Oh wow, it's not gonna be that kind of video, everybody.
I mean, or is it?
I'm just
Boo!
saying. I'm just saying, my skin is so white that there are honestly photos of me in like when it was like really, really sunny out in the summertime, and I am legit reflecting light.
That's Michael.
Like,
No,
yeah,
no. I
too
mean,
white to function.
I love him. And
Yeah.
and then
There's
I
no
forget
melanin
when
here.
he like has a shirt, and I'm like, wow. I won't say it because I don't. I'm not shaming. It's just
Yeah.
a fact.
This is what we were born with.
Yeah.
and,
It's
you know.
what you
I get a
Irish.
few shades darker in the summer, especially during the peak of hiking season.
See,
but
he'll
that's
get it. Like if he goes out, he'll get like a beautiful tan. The Portuguese side of him will tan.
Ah, there we go.
But if the Irish part of him stays inside, then you're just like, oh, hello.
Right.
My eyes are blinded.
And I am just fucking, I'm like 87% UK and Irish according to 23andMe. So there is no part of my genetics that goes, sure, we can tan now. Like, it just doesn't happen. I pinkin. That's it.
I pinkin.
Pinkin. But anyways, hi everybody.
Hi.
I'm Abby Rosemarin.
I'm Ashley Barajas.
And welcome
Ha, JK. Barajas. That's how I mean, I'm not being racist, right? That's how the white people say my last name.
Hey.
But I really appreciate the non-Spanish speakers that try.
Like myself.
I see you, and I appreciate you.
Amen. And welcome to Cheers to Adulting.
Cheers to adulting.
So should we start? All right. Should we start off with some adulting / not adulting / adulting plans?
No, fuck you.
Well, fine then. I'm going to start chatting about some adulting stuff, and you can do whatever it is you're going to do.
Fine. Do you want me to start or?
I can start, if only because mine's going to be like super duper quick. Start.
Start.
Oh,
Hold on. Oh, that just fell down my shirt.
But, and I'm going to completely sidetrack here because sidetracking is what we do. That made me think of Letterkenny. If anybody watches the Letterkenny show, that is like top.
I want to watch it, but the weekly chef at work watches it, and I have no respect for him at all.
But I watch it and you have respect for me, right?
I do, but like I can't like anything that he likes.
You know what? I can understand it. It's like certain names where I had some kids that I would either nanny for or was a preschool teacher for, and they were monsters. It doesn't matter that I meet adults who are perfectly fine human beings. It's like, nope, your name is Lucas. Hard fucking pass.
Yeah.
So I get it. But the Sturt thing made me think of there's a character named Stuart, and there's a character named Roll who will say Sturt instead of saying Stuart. Sturt. So, and again, if you have not seen Letterkenny yet, and a coworker of yours has not been so terrible that you can't
and
watch
misogynist and very heteronormative, like
Hard pass.
mansplaining. Ugh.
Hard fuck. Yeah, you know what? I could understand them being like, whatever you like, I'm
Like
gonna adamantly
literally,
not like.
you could do a dissertation on why some subject he is wrong, and he would still, blue in the face, tell you he was right.
Ugh. Hard pass.
No, you can't put that non-stick pan in the dishwasher and use metal utensils on it. Oh, well, I heard on InfoWars, blah, blah, blah.
Of course,
blah, blah, blah.
InfoWars with the gay frogs.
And I'm like,
and the...
no, you can't. This pan is ruined. This pan that you did not buy, that does not belong to you, is ruined. It would literally take you 10 seconds to wash this, and yet you were so lazy that you put it in the dishwasher. Oh, hey, don't put that in the dishwasher because I will have to unload the dishwasher in the morning and have to rewash it. No, I mean, I'm telling you, you cannot put that in the dishwasher. I unload this dishwasher every weekday and I have to rewash it. That's a whole episode.
Yeah.
How much I hate this man.
Anyways, going back to my adulting. Mine is just very quickly, despite the fact that there's been an uptick in classes, and I mentioned in my previous episode, which was part 1 of this dating lovely mini series that we got going on, that I have a lot of classes this year that I didn't have last year, and the numbers are going to keep going up. And despite the fact, right, because I'm going to get that money.
Get it, money.
20,
money.
Right?
Money.
Money. 2019 was all about like spending through the nose because I have shitty health insurance.
I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
Spending through the nose, baby. The money's just
like
coming out.
Double Dare.
Oh,
when you have to like reach up the nostril.
Oh yes, and you had to pull
for all
like
our 90s kids.
Yeah, that dates us a little bit.
Dates us hard.
Right? Holy fucking shit.
Although I feel like we don't have much the younger. What's before millennials?
That is Gen Z.
Or I mean after
Or
millennials.
Gen X. So it's Gen X, millennials, Gen Z.
I feel like we don't have much of any of the Gen Zers.
We are not hip with the Gen Z crowd and their TikToks and their Snapchats. Like, that just fucking doesn't happen.
Although I did recently download TikTok.
Oh no, you know what? I'm actually half tempted to get it myself because I'm like, oh, these like interesting 10-second videos. Okay, like I'm down for something mindless. But anyways.
What was the other thing that you said besides TikTok?
Snapchat. I'm still not on Snapchat.
Snapchat is not.
I know. That's younger millennials. Who are we gonna send nudes to?
Are you saying you haven't seen any of my snaps, Abby?
I have never seen any of your snaps because I don't have Snapchat.
Oh, that's why I haven't. Yeah, I like Snapchat. It's fun. And it disappears, so you can't see my shame.
That's true. Well, you know what? That is why I love Instagram stories because it's gone within 24 hours. So I need to get into Snapchat.
But you can archive it.
That is very
and
true.
And you can share it. So.
This is true. But anyways, I just want to say that I am proud of myself for keeping on top of dishes and laundry, despite the fact that I've had like basically a 25% uptick in classes over the past couple of weeks, and it's just going to keep growing. I've also been doing things like going to wellness fairs. I audited a convention on drug courts, which was like really fucking fascinating. But you know that also took up some time.
With you? Did your friend tell you about that one?
He did. He was actually one of the ones who he organized it and was like, "Why don't you come on down?" And I was like, "You know what? Fine." And I actually like they did this whole like really cool thing about like is marijuana medicine, and they talked about the various studies.
Yes,
and
the
like
answer is yes.
And it talked about like what studies prove, what studies disprove, what is still unknown, and it was like really fucking fascinating.
We should do a whole episode on marijuana.
Which I would have to just basically just smile and nod on because I don't smoke.
Well, you don't have to smoke. Just about like, I know this is like going on a tangent, but very quickly about how marijuana, not just like recreational, whatever, about like hemp in particular, how it can help the environment, how it's great. It's easy to grow. It's great for the environment. Clothes, paper. You can make like non-plastics out of just so many things. CBD, just all of it. If you take away all the psychotropic whatever out of marijuana, it's a great plant and it should be utilized. And vote for me. 20.
There we go. Bernie Sanders and fucking
Yay, Bernie!
Right? I love how it's like this was gonna be a super quick one, and it really was just like 1 or 2 sentences about how I'm keeping up on my laundry and dishes despite the fact that I'm working more hours these days, and we have gone on all the tangents.
Even my billionaire boss, so he's a quote-unquote Democrat. Even though the words that come out of his mouth are very non-democratic or very, very like you're still in the 1950s, and I'm like, oh wow.
You're lucky if you are left of center, buddy.
Yeah, and his wife is she's Republican.
I was about to say she's a bitch.
Which is fine. My sister's a Republican, and I love her, and I love getting into spirited debates, and she's very intelligent, and I respect a lot of Republicans and Democrats and whatever. Everyone has their own. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with this. Right. So she watches literally Fox News all day. I don't care if you watch CNN all day. who can watch news all day? She sits in a recliner all day, or otherwise she's in a wheelchair. Not to get into whatever, but it's just so toxic. If you had to, I mean, she could go out if she wanted to museums or whatever, but like if you had to and you were choosing to watch TV, which is all day, it's your prerogative, watch some Nat Geo, man.
Right? Learn some
documentaries.
shit.
Watch them. I remember she asked me to change the channel for her the other day. Because she was just like so angry at like watching the impeachment. I'm like, why are you even watching this? Like,
Then put
I
on
don't
the
care
History
who you
Channel.
vote for. It's
Learn about the
just
Civil War then.
gonna make you
Jesus
angry.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I changed it, and it went to like some sort of like CSI or something show, and the first like sentence that came out, and then the lifeless body underneath the car. And I said to her, I'll take lifeless body under a car over the news any day.
Right.
She laughed and kept watching.
So
So he had asked me randomly out of the blue, so what do you think of the impeachment? And I'm like,
oh boy.
what? And I usually am always, anytime his wife tries, I'm just like, I don't like to talk politics at work. And he has worked in politics and is asked for funds and whatever, sponsoring people. He was like, so what do you think about it? So do you think he should get impeached or whatever? I'm like, this is a trap.
It's a trap.
And I was like, and I didn't want to say anything because I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. He's also very intelligent. So I said, well, I mean, we just have to see how our government works and let them do it, but also I don't trust them. And he's like, so you think he should be impeached, thrown out? And I'm like, I mean, well, if he's supposed to be impeached, he should be impeached. He's like, oh, but then you have Mike Pence. And I'm like, well, I don't want him either. So that puts me in a Sophie's choice sort of situation.
Well, I believe
he's like, well, then you got Nancy Pelosi. What do you think about Nancy Pelosi?
I was about to say, like, Nancy Pelosi's third in line.
I was like, I don't know how I feel about her either. I was like, you're putting me.
Although we're lessening the fuckitude with the, like, I don't like Nancy Pelosi either, but I'm like, she's not as bad as Mike Pence, and Mike Pence is not as bad as Trump. So,
Well, I don't know.
Mike Pence is not going to start World War III with a motherfucking tweet. That's what I know.
But he might put gays in concentration camps.
I mean, touche. But you know what? Knock on wood. We do have an election this year, so maybe he wouldn't be able to do.
So then we talked about election really quick.
Yeah.
I know we're going on a whole tangent. I swear it will be quick. Then
we never
talked.
are.
I was like, well, I guess we can just write it out, and we have the election coming up, and blah blah blah, and and then you have Sanders and Bernie. He was like, oh, Bernie, I love Bernie. I was like, oh, we are bonding. I was like,
Right?
I love Bernie.
I'm actually kind of shocked that a millionaire loves
I know.
Bernie.
He was like, oh, Bernie. Yeah, I love Bernie. I was like, yes, me too.
Right?
And he was like, well, what do you think about Warren? I was like, well, I was like, I said, well, we'll see what the Democratic Party elects, although I don't really trust them after the last fuck up.
Yeah, like, I mean, whoever the Democratic Party picks, like, this is totally a tangent now, I will vote for, but at this point, any vote that's not a vote for Bernie is a vote for Biden. That's my personal attitude these days.
Also, I did say to him, and I'll say to I don't care who you vote for, and he was like, wow, you're really grasping at straws here. Grasping at straws. I said, all I want is someone that both sides feel okay with, which I would say a lot of the times, at least for the last election, a lot of people, Republicans, Libertarians, middle ground, and Democrats, and very far left Democrats like Bernie. I just want, us to come together and find a happy ground, a happy middle ground. I just want everybody to get along together. And he was like, oh, well, that's not gonna happen. I was like, yeah, well, I can hope so.
Right. So yeah, that was my adulting.
Sorry, you have like
I have a schmutz. But yeah, that was my adulting. I
don't know. I'm sorry.
It's the best part too is that right before we started filming, Pat, our camera guy, was like, "So you're not going to
Ashley, he didn't say you. Ashley, you're not going to interrupt Abby again, are you?"
with long stories of your own.
I said no. I lied.
Well, you know what?
Surprise.
Surprise, everybody. But is there any adulting you would like to talk about?
Fuck. No. Well,
And scene.
it's just like the normal, like, there's so much adulting. Okay. So there's so much I have to do in the house. I did recently, I bought a wall calendar that I still need to put up. But I've been filling out. And then I was like, you know what? This wall calendar is not enough. Because I've had so many things like very far in advance that I'm like, okay, because I recently had, well, a few months ago, several months, who cares? Who's counting? I got a dry erase calendar so I can, as I go. But I'm realizing it only gets me good for like that month, so I need far in advance. So I got that. But then I realized, because don't get me wrong, I do utilize my phone calendar, but sometimes it's not as user-friendly as I would like. I need something a little faster that open up a book and I see it. I don't want to have to scroll through motherfucking things and whatever. So I bought a travel, like almost 8 by 10, but a little bit smaller to carry in my backpack that I take to work. Nice. So I was filling that out yesterday, going through my wall calendar that I can probably now safely put on the wall. But yeah, I was filling that out and trying to be, and I want to try, and that's my it's my 2020 sort of, my goal resolution for the year is to utilize that more and try and use it more than just like dates and what have you, and trying to use it for like goals.
Nice.
So much so that, can you move the thing? Let's see, what does it say?
Oh.
Fuck it. It's called Fuck It, a 2020 planner for real ass women.
I love it. Fuck it.
Yeah, and then inside, this is not a promo or anything. I don't even know who made it. I found it on Amazon. It's like January, more shit to do. And then like the month of February at the bottom, it says, I have 3 moods. What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? And fuck this shit. Let's see. And then March. I'm sorry. It's just that I literally don't give a fuck. And other things like that. So, yeah, this is my mood 2020.
Whole fucking mood.
Whole fucking mood.
Speaking of whole fucking moods.
Dating,
everybody.
Hi.
So we saved the best for first. We're gonna first talk about some like dating struggle / dating horror stories.
Yes.
That we kind of reached out to you guys and we're like, hey, tell us about some horror stories, and you guys delivered.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, who wants to go first on this one?
I will.
All right.
Okay. So this was via our Instagram, my personal account, and Facebook. So it'll either be their name or their Instagram handle. Is that the correct term?
Yeah, handle.
All right. So I put in like, what are your dating struggles? A Talamontes said, lies. Mandy Lyon, who is a good friend from high school, she said, people who question my authority to be celibate for as long as I want. 20 question games when it's not 50 Cent. Also, ghosting. Relatable as fuck.
Right.
Yeah, whether you're asexual or you want to wait as long as you fucking want to not have sex, you should be able to wait as long as you want to not have sex.
You're on nobody's timeline but your own when it comes to dating.
Yeah. And if they don't like that, move on.
All right.
Marco, funniest guy alive. Online dating seems like a good idea to meet people online, but what a horror show. Sean P, global warming, ? Okay. That's definitely a dating struggle.
All right.
Mikey, finding someone in a state like New Hampshire is very difficult. Everyone has trust issues. The market is so out of balance because women are economically outperforming men. People don't know how to socialize, flakiness, ghosting, time wasting. I just went on an OkCupid binge. It's such a pain to sort people, message them, hope for a match, take a week or two, try to meet up, and then even if it goes well. So maybe I will wait to say it, but Mikey had shared so I had asked him, because I was immediately like, please explain a little further, when he said the market is out of balance because women are economically outperforming men.
That is a fascinating one. That kind of pinged at me.
So I was like, can you elaborate a little bit more? Because I want to make sure that you're not attacking me.
Right.
So he shared a couple articles with me about how it is an issue for dating. So I'll share it real quick.
Yeah, we'll save it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Little
whatever.
cliff notes.
It's our fucking podcast. We're going to do whatever we want. All right. So there's an article in The Guardian that it's called The Dating Gap, Why the Odds Are Stacked Against Female Graduates Finding Like-Minded Men. More women than men are graduating in many countries, but according to Datanomics, a new book on hookup culture, there's a downside. There may not be enough educated men to go round. Is it time to widen the search? And then I pulled another quote. To be clear, we are talking about heterosexual women who want to find a partner. There are plenty of straight women who don't feel finding a man is a high priority. But for educated women who refuse to date non-educated men, it creates two problems, says Berger. It creates a statistical challenge because they are voluntarily limiting themselves to a dating pool that has 4 women for every 3 men. But it also gives way too much leverage to those college-educated men, and I think it encourages these men to be overly choosy and to delay settling down. This kind of classism doesn't penalize the men because the supply of educated women is so large.
Fascinating.
So it's kind of like a, double-edged sword for men and women, that these women are dating only men that have been to college, that are college-educated.
Yeah.
At the same time, because of that, they're limiting their dating pool to men who are college educated. And so these college educated men get to pick and be a lot more picky and
probably
choosy.
Don't put as much effort into the relationship because it's like, well, if you don't hold up the relationship for both of us, I'll just find a woman who will do that.
Yeah. Not to say that, we're not targeting college-educated men by any chance.
Oh, no. But that's a very fascinating thing because I feel like I've seen that before. Like some guys can get very, or even just women can get very well, I'm not going to put any effort into this because if you're not going to do all the work, I'll just find somebody who does.
Or that it's kind of disheartening that women are limiting themselves by saying that they will only date college-educated men.
Yeah.
So I had talked in the last episode how my father, I thought he was very intelligent, but he went to college and he didn't. So I would say that some quote unquote college educated women would not consider an associate's degree college educated.
And especially these days with college as expensive as it is,
and it was a community college too.
Which, again, nothing wrong with that. As somebody who went back to community college after getting her 4-year degree.
I started off at community college, the same community college that my father went to, which was so it was San Antonio Community College. Shout out.
What's up?
It was opened in the early 1900s.
Oh, wow.
A very old community college, still going on. Great. I had great education there. I would say that the teachers there in the cultural anthropology department were extremely comparable to the professors that I had at University of Massachusetts, Boston.
Yeah. Honestly, some of them will teach at both. They'll teach at, say, Bunker Hill Community College and also teach at, say, Suffolk College. I
had a speech teacher who said that basically at the community college, she said that teaching the speech class there was basically paying for his parking.
Wow.
I was like, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
You don't need to let us know. Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, in our last episode, it's just about like, don't limit yourself.
Exactly. And again, don't settle. Like, this is not us saying, oh, well, you have to settle for a guy who's not as smart as you because X, Y, and Z. But also, if you are talking with somebody and you find out they never went to college or they only went to community college, like, don't let that be a disqualifier. Find out who they are as a person. Find out what their intellect is. Like, some of the smartest people I know didn't go to college, or they only went to state school, or they only went to community college. Like, don't limit yourself necessarily.
And some, blue collar workers that I'm sure maybe they could have gone to MIT, Harvard, Yale, Oxford, whatever, but they found way more satisfaction to doing, plumbing, or they're an electrician or whatever. Doesn't mean that they can't provide for you, they can't be
intellectually stimulating.
They might be way more emotionally intelligent and way more supportive and what have you than someone that has their fucking doctorate.
Right? Book smart is not the only kind of smart.
Yeah. Oh, that is, I cannot emphasize that enough.
So we can kind of go from the dating struggles over to the online dating struggles, which for some, that's kind of one and the same. Because again, as we said...
dating struggles to the dating struggles?
Did I say the online dating horror stories versus dating struggles in general. You know what? I am like 2.5 Bellinis in. So, motherfucker, like, I'm amazed that I can even be coherent. Because for a lot of us, as we mentioned in episode 1, or part 1 of this is episode 27, everybody. Yeah. So we're not at episode 1 at all. But as we mentioned in episode 6/part 1, that online dating is just synonymous with dating at this point. And there are a lot of online dating horror stories. So that was the other thing too. When we reached out and said, hey, give us your online dating horror stories, like, the feedback that came in was amazing. So this person who would prefer to be referred to as SV, that's her initials, this is her horror story. So we match on OKC, which is OkCupid. I don't have my notifications on for any of my dating apps, but I check them every once in a while, especially if I match with somebody. Right out of the gate, I was getting a bad feeling about this guy. He starts off with saying that he appreciates that I like, quote unquote, nice guys, because I say in my profile that I'm attracted to kind hearts over swagger and coolness, and he says he likes that because so few women do, in quotations. Ugh. Red alert, red alert. But I ignore it. He asks for my phone number, and I say that I prefer chatting on the app until I meet somebody, which is actually really good fucking advice. Like, some people will want your numbers right off the bat. If you can keep it to the dating app messaging service, do it. But going back to her horror story, so he asked for the number. She says she would prefer to keep it on the app. But then he asks twice if I'm okay that he is 2 inches shorter than me. Another red flag. I ignore it. We chat a little bit, but then I have to get back to work. Because I don't reply for a whole hour, in capitalizations, a whole hour, he says, "What's your number? I just want to talk to you." I assert that I don't want to talk until we've met. But we never do meet. We try to find a day to meet, in parentheses, I know what's wrong with me, but I end up catching a really bad cold. He decides he's going to make me jealous by saying that he's met this other girl instead, and they slept together that night / the night we were supposed to meet, and the sex was so good, ...
Oh my God.
Right? Guess who got unmatched then? So that's another, and we mentioned this a little bit at the very end of part 1 of this. Trust your gut. If you're getting red flags at the beginning, don't go further. Like, this is a great example of you're getting red flags and you ignore it, and then you just get more red flags. Like, you do not get rewarded for ignoring red flags.
Do you want to back and forth?
Sure thing.
Okay. So, Emily R. I met my boyfriend Trip on Tinder, which is great. But I did have a man, I had referenced this in our last episode. I did have a man on Plenty of Fish literally tell me You ready for this?
Oh,
this
boy.
This is gonna be a whole bunch of make you so angry. I have a man on Plenty of Fish literally tell me when I canceled our date because I had the flu that only immoral and evil people get colds because we have so much negativity that the viruses recognize, like, and try to be with us. So that was fun. When I then said, this isn't going to work out at all, he said I wasn't as attractive as I thought. I was just as stupid as most women. Oh, and he hoped I'd get raped, murdered, and decapitated in an alley.
Wow.
So that was bad. Long story short, Plenty of Fish is trash.
Yes. If there's anything you take from these 2 episodes,
Jesus fucking
Plenty
Christ.
of Fish is trash. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Also, it's amazing the number of men who go into this like random ass route of I hope you get murdered and raped and like what the fuck is wrong with you?
Calm down, man.
Right? Holy shit.
Ugh.
Like, it almost feels weird to kind of jump over to this one because again, like it is so common for women to get threatened like this. It is just amazing. Like there's a few groups that I'm a part of in Facebook. Like there's one called Hurry Guys While He's Still Single, and it will be. I'm a part of way too many Facebook groups. If this is not
I'm not
becoming
a part
apparent,
of enough.
So this one, people will like post like screenshots, especially of text messages, and some of them will be like that. Like a guy will be like, on like a dating app or something like that, will say something and she's not as receptive, and he's immediately like, I hope you get raped and decapitated and da 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 da. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, men?
What did your mom do to you?
Right? Like, who hurt you?
Who hurt you?
Show us on the doll where you got hurt.
Do you need to be held
Right?
in a platonic way?
Do you
I won't do it, but we'll find someone who will.
Exactly.
Seek therapy.
Oh my goodness, seriously, seek therapy. But so, I mean, this one is a little bit ridiculous, but is thankfully not to the level of wishing like death upon somebody. So this one is actually from my sister-in-law. So she's currently single and she's been through the whole dating ringer. And we actually had a really wonderful conversation talking about the various dating blunders that she had had. So this one particular guy, they match, they hit it off, they're chatting, they're supposed to go on a date. As she is leaving for the date, he texts her and says, I have to cancel. And she replies back like, she wants to reply back like, hey, what's up? She realizes her number got blocked.
What?
So she, and they got unmatched on the dating profile too. So she can't even reach out and be like, hey, what happened? But here's the thing, like, and this is unfortunately really common. Like some people just decide, you know what? I don't want to meet this person after all. And instead of being an adult and saying something, I'm just going to fucking like cancel the date and block them. But this fucker changed his mind.
What?
So he tried to get in contact with her anyways. And she was like, no, I'm done. Like, don't worry about it. He tried to match with her again on a dating app, and she was like
a different one?
I think it was a different one. We talked on the phone about this, and I feel bad that my ability to recall verbal conversations is not what it used to be. But I think it was a different dating app. He like tried to match with her there, and she was like, hard fucking pass. Like, can you believe that? Like, it's one thing to ghost somebody, but to ghost somebody and change your mind and try to like weasel back in, like, hi everybody, I swiped left. You wanna swipe left too?
Little ASMR.
All right. Sorry
ASMR.
for
ASMR.
My apologies for those who have misophonia like myself. Like I personally hate that noise too, so my apologies.
Oh, I just got turned down by Pat.
Anyways, what's another horror story from you?
I'll share two because both are like one sentence each. So from Sarah, during a paint and sip, she couldn't stop painting on my canvas and ordering my drinks.
Oh.
And I can tell you, dating as a woman, dating other women is hard enough.
Yeah.
Don't fucking make it more complicated and try and do that. I don't care if you're a man or a woman dating a man or a woman.
Just don't do that shit.
Don't fucking paint on my canvas.
Don't order my drinks for me unless I told you it's okay.
Unless you know what I want to drink and you're going to order me endless drinks.
Right?
I will take it.
And you're going to pay for them.
Please and thank you. Okay, and then A.N. Finn. Unpleasant time explaining white male privilege and that it applied to him.
Oh boy.
Wife.
So this one is actually from the same person who did a longer write-in for us later on for this podcast. She wishes to remain anonymous, but what she wrote in for was, I'm in an open marriage, and the guy's opening line when we matched was, oh, you're in an open marriage? So hot. All those men playing with you. Because yes, all I do is schedule gangbangs. That's what ethical monogamy means for me.
Gangbangs!
Right? Like, all I do is schedule gangbangs.
I'm just here for the gangbangs.
Exactly. Like, I mean, you know what? If I was going to have a dating profile, I think I would have one line. I'm just here for the gangbangs. So she has a second one too, because, you know, the joys of being in an open marriage and also dating. This also happened to her. This was with right? All the gangbangs. Like, you know what? When like if I'm going to be in an open marriage, all I want to do is schedule gangbangs. Like if I'm not
obviously, I'm just here for the gangbangs.
Exactly. I'm just here for the gangbangs / episode title.
Yes.
So this also happened to her. So this was.
I don't know. I think that might be a little bit too much for a title.
We'll see on that one. We've had some interesting titles.
Maybe.
I'm just here for the gang bees.
Yeah, or it's like one of the titles of your books. I'm just here for the
free scrutiny.
Free scrutiny,
which you should totally get on Amazon, guys. Free
Self-plug.
promo. What's up? So this is part of the same write-in. She said, and then a different guy said, like 2 lines into us chatting, quote unquote, you could do so much better than your husband. In parentheses, I had a picture of us in my photos, and us meaning her and her husband. What an asshole. Do you think you're going to get with me or get into my good graces because you disrespected my husband?
Wait, what?
So the person who wrote in, she's in an open marriage.
Yes.
And the person this is a completely different person.
Was the person messaging her a female?
A male.
Okay.
So yeah, so a different guy, 2 lines into chatting, so basically they did the like, hey, how are you, said, you could do so much better than your husband.
Oh.
Like, that's some shit. Like, you know, because I've actually had that happen to me myself where I'll be at like a bar. Exactly, like in an open marriage. I don't know if you heard our cameraman there, but I'll be like at a bar and I'll be like hanging out with my husband, and like I'm a like demonstratively affectionate person.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember exactly where this happened, and this is probably like 7-8 years ago, like really fucking long time ago. But we're hanging out at a bar, and for some reason, like he like had to go to the bathroom or something. Like all of a sudden, I'm alone at the bar.
Yeah.
And a guy comes up to me being like, you can do so much better than him. And I'm like, do you think that's gonna make me win me over? Like, you're right, I can do so much better than my husband. Or at that point, it was probably my boyfriend. I can do so much better than my boyfriend. I'm gonna jump into your arms. Like, no, that's not gonna fucking happen. Peace the fuck out. Like, ugh, why do people do that? Why do people like have to like triangulate and compare in order to win a woman over? Like, fuck off.
Oy vey.
Right?
Horror stummy.
Stummy.
All right, the drink starting to hit. From Carrie H. I abbreviate. She had a lot to say, but here's her horror story. One guy I dated once, met him for coffee, told him I was too fat to be attractive.
Wow.
I was in a fairly decent place and said weight can change, but ugly attitudes are usually set. One guy I met on a first coffee date asked me if I would perform sexual acts on request. I left. I met a lot of dudes, didn't listen to myself as much as I should have, took a risk, and accepted a ride with one guy thinking, oh shit, as soon as I got in the car. Luckily, I was okay, aside from weird conversation. So, she had a lot of, like, she had wrote in talking about, like, learning her whatever. But, like, true crime podcasts have told us, don't get in a car with a dude you don't know. This is how true crime exists.
Oh my.
This is how podcasts exist about true crime.
Right? Like, honestly, when I was researching for this particular episode.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I can't tell you, like, there was a few YouTube videos I found of, like, the craziest, like, YouTube situations and most predatory. And so many of them were, like, he got into the car, or she or he got, or visited them at their house. Like, oh my, again, I never want to blame the victim. If something happened to you, it is the perpetrator's fault. No, bar none. But you can minimize the chance of shit happening to you by not getting into their car, not going to their house, and so on and so forth.
Don't let them know where you live.
Exactly. Oh,
Don't
boy.
let them pick you up.
Ugh.
You don't know.
Right?
Have you not seen You?
Right? Again, you watch the fucking show, and that's going to make you want to make sure your Instagram is private.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Because those people exist.
Exactly. So this is a ghosting horror story, which is actually also from my sister-in-law. So this one was not just on the first date. She had been dating this guy for 3 months. She was actually the guest for him. She was his guest at a wedding that he went to. So they went to a wedding together.
A wedding?
They went to a wedding together. And if I remember correctly, that was actually like one of their very first dates. Yeah, that's a fucking huge thing. And like they were doing really well. And I actually remember this. I remember like she was posting things on Instagram about this, you know, this great relationship. Boom. And then out of nowhere, 3 months into this relationship, he just blocks her. Out of nowhere.
Did she do something crazy?
No, honestly.
Did she tell you?
Well, I mean,
two sides to every story.
I mean,
I'm not victim.
Yeah, I mean, while there is 2 sides to every story, it really sounds like 1 minute.
Don't talk about why you would even be doing that.
Like, especially if you've been dating somebody for 3 months, you owe them bare minimum a hey, you know what? I just can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like bare minimum. You don't have to give them a dissertation of why the relationship didn't work
say,
out.
It's not working. I'm sorry.
This is over. Yeah. Make sure you communicate that you're done. Don't fucking ghost. Oh my, I have so many issues about ghosting.
Would you ghost your employer?
Right?
Unless they're, I've
sometimes
contemplated to do it all the time at work, but I want my W-2, so.
Right. Sometimes ghosting is what you have to do, especially, I'm going to completely sidetrack here, but if you're ever in an abusive situation or an unsafe situation, sometimes you have to ghost, and that's okay. You do not owe that person anything, especially if you feel like your life would be in danger if you told them, you know, hey, this is over. Likewise with a job. If the job is really fucking bad, maybe you just fucking ghost. Like, that's okay. But assuming that it's a healthy situation, don't fucking do that.
Don't do it.
Oh my God.
Don't do it.
Ho, don't do it.
So from Turtle, I do have one bad date story. Was more of a let's hang together without others around thing. So who is to say it was actually one? This is funny. So was a friend's sister I had been interested in and was trying to get her to know her better. She wants to play pool and pick this shitty little bar by us. She wanted to meet up, which was cool because it was late. I show up and she is dressed like a deer. Not
Like
full bodysuit, but makeup and antlers. She had just been at a local and poorly attended pagan festival / fair with a friend, and they talked her into it. That wasn't even the bad part, just made things a bit more memorable, because the rest of the next 2 hours was us finding out how much we didn't have in common because of the age difference, and it was going nowhere. Can you imagine? Just be like, hey, BT Dubs, I'm going to be showing up with antlers.
Like, and again, if you are like hardcore pagan, that's wonderful, but communicate that.
Yeah.
Make sure that like the other person's on the same page as you.
Yeah. Okay, so I got this one the other night, and it was hilarious because I got it in like piecemeal, and I was like, send the other message. So this is from Mike C. So he's a climber. So the full story was we matched on Bumble. We talked for a week or two. We found out that we have a lot in common in terms of activities, mindset, overall thoughts on relationships and life, love for craft beer. That's crucial. Craft beer. Love for craft beer. Blah, blah, blah. We were both very attracted to each other, but weren't looking to hook up or jump into things because we were actually trying to date and not just hook up. We agreed to meet up in person at a brewery in the city. The date comes about and I'm waiting for her outside. Waiting. Finally, this woman approaches me and I didn't even recognize that this person was my date and felt very off by it. We went into the brewery and I asked her what beer she would like as she found a place to sit. She said anything that would be similar to Bud/Bud Light, as because she doesn't like craft beer.
Okay.
Yeah. Feeling more and more off about the situation, I started to wonder if it was even my date. So half drunk, me had a great idea. I'll send her a bunch of random letters to her phone to see if her phone goes off, and if it does, I'll play it off as if I butt texted her, or if she never looks at her phone or gets a text, then I know it's not her. I go to get her another drink for her and I, so before I round the corner and back up with her, I send her some random letters/words and throw my phone into my pocket. Sure enough, she checks her phone and laughs and shows me the text that I sent to her, and I blame the butt dial. That was the only time during the date that there was a genuine laugh. As the date went on, I'm becoming fully drunk and realized that my date must have been fed information by a friend or someone else just entirely was texting me through her Bumble account. At this point, I'm totally checked out on the date and too drunk to drive home. Nearby, the brewery is a vegetarian/vegan restaurant that I love that makes a mean black bean burger. Also, I want to find this place. I'm not vegetarian or vegan,
but
like
bean burgers
the fact
are
that it was like
delicious.
a mean black bean burger, I'm like, okay.
Right.
So I ask if she's hungry and say that I know of a great place in walking distance. She agrees and we head over there. We get to the restaurant and I instantly order my black bean burger. If I could, I would have ordered it at the door. She's going back and forth about what to get and decides on the vegan buff mac and cheese. Awkward long pauses and drunk me trying to break the silence. Food arrives and I pretty much unhinge my jaw and slide all the food down my throat. She is picking at the buffalo mac and cheese to be polite, but honestly has been moving stuff around more than eating it. I'm sober now and ready for the check. Waitress asks if her meal was good/would like a to-go box. My date says it doesn't even taste like buffalo mac and cheese and pushes the plate to the waitress and requests for it to be taken away.
Oh boy.
Fucking bitch.
Oh boy.
I pay for the check.
The
Also,
check.
the fact that he didn't say it, but I can assume from what he said that he basically paid for everything.
Oh boy.
This bitch sounds like she is just using him as an excuse for free beer and vegan mac and cheese, even though I'm just so bullshit about this.
Yes.
He does not owe you free shit. Anyway, so blah, 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 blah. I pay for the check, leave a nice tip, and I write on the check that I was sorry for what happened. So at this point, the last nail is in the coffin, and I never want to go on a date with this person again because I know this. And because I know this, when I said this, I was like, oh, if you were a girl, I would be like, bitch, are you crazy? Because I know this, I offer her a ride back to her place.
No. That's how you get stabbed.
She lived on the way to where I live, and she said yes. We pull up to her place. She sat there awkwardly in my front seat, jingling her keys. I was thinking of the movie Hitch the entire time. Of course, the one time I pick up on someone's signs, I'm not feeling the same way. Made some more small talk. She started making her way to the door, thinking I was gonna follow. Now, please keep in mind that this is in the summertime and I always have my windows and sunroof open at night to get that amazing cool breeze. She notices that my car is still running and that I'm still in the driver's seat with my seatbelt on. She crouches down to talk through the open passenger door. She said she had a great time tonight and thanked me for the beer, food, and the ride home. I said no problem. It honestly wasn't much as I firmly stay in my seat with the seatbelt on. Awkward pause yet again, and she crawls in and gives me a hug goodbye. She crawls out. I love that he uses the word crawls.
Like, I'm just thinking like the ring.
Creepy, like you don't need to give that bitch a hug. She crawls out, closes the door, and I look out of my sunroof at her and I say, I hope you have a good night. And And I don't think I could have legally gone any faster to get back home and get drunk again, telling this date to 2 of my roommates.
Oh my goodness. That is some shit.
And last but not least,
yeah. Well, I don't have a horror story, but this is actually kind of the part 2 of the write-in from the woman who's in an open marriage. So this is kind of veering off into the idea of, reminding ourselves that dating doesn't have to look a certain way. It could be monogamy, it could be non-monogamy, it could be polyamory. We kind of talk about this a little bit in part 1 of this kind of 2-part series, that, maybe you're monogamish, maybe you're monogamous. Exactly. Like maybe you're polyamorous. Relationships don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to, you don't have to sleep with somebody just because you had 3 dates with them. You don't have to move in with them just because you're like you dated for 6 months and so on and so forth. And so this particular person who's been listening to our podcast is polyamorous and wanted to do kind of like just talk about polyamory, especially since there's so much misconceptions about ethical non-monogamy and polyamory. So this is what she says. She says, I have been practicing some level of ethical non-monogamy for a little while now. My NP, in parentheses, nesting partner, and I are originally monogamous. And nesting partner basically means like this is the person you live with.
Home base.
Yeah, your live-in boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, and so on and so forth. Let's get back to where I was. So unbeknownst to the other, we both knew we were more poly at our hearts, but would quote unquote play monogamy pretty well. It was actually during a road trip that we started talking about what it would mean to open up a relationship, and we realized that we were on the same page about it. We started slow, very slow. We even went to couples counseling to sort out our stuff because we knew how much of a strain opening up the relationship could be. We communicated every step of the way, what we wanted, what we didn't want, and what helped the other person feel comfortable or feel safe, and so on. I will admit that it was a bumpy ride at first. My comfort levels were different than my nesting partners, and we clashed a lot on that. But we worked through it and found that, especially once we acclimated to our new normal, polyamory fit us like a glove. We both have serious relationships outside of our marriage. My nesting partner has a girlfriend for the last 1.5 years, and I'm coming up on 1 year with my boyfriend. We are deeply in love with our partners, and the 4 of us have all hung out from time to time. We still date outside of those relationships. We both have quote-unquote romantic friendships with people where the connection is clearly more than platonic, but we don't really have sex with those partners. Neither of us are really looking for more relationships, but we're also not opposed to it. I still go on the occasional first date, but I find I end up making more friends this way than anything else. Okay, so some of you might be looking for advice on opening up your relationship. I'm clearly not a relationship expert on this, but I can give you advice based on what has worked for me. Advice number 1, don't focus on the immediate rewards. I know too many couples who think, sweet, I get to have sex with other people now. And they don't do the hard work it takes to be okay with this new arrangement and to feel secure. And it is hard work. So lay the groundwork first. Treat it like having a child. Having a child will magnify every single problem of your relationship. So likewise, if you're opening up your relationship, make sure you're in a good place. Advice number 2, communicate, communicate, communicate. This is the hardest thing for traditionally monogamous people to do. Mainstream dating involves a lot of assumptions. So much is assumed and very little is explicitly negotiated. And the communication should not stop just because you are now acclimated. Communicate too much, and then communicate some more. This also includes communicating the type of ethical non-monogamy that you guys want to do. Do you guys want to be swingers? Do you want to only have casual relationships outside of the marriage? Would it only be one-night stands when somebody is out of town? Do you want it to be full-blown polyamory? Be explicit in what you want and what you're comfortable with. Advice number 3, do the hard inner work. Seriously, jealousy, territoriality, envy, sadness, worry, doubt, anxiety, these don't magically go away just because you now identify as poly. The only difference is that you now have to do the work of navigating those feelings, seeing where they come from, why you feel that, what you need to process, and what should be, in parentheses, calmly and rationally communicated. And then the last piece of advice, do not unicorn hunt. Oh my God, please don't. So unicorn hunting is when a couple tries to, quote unquote, look for a third. This is the go-to for so many new to ethical non-monogamy people. Do not do this. It's super problematic, and I could be here all day talking about why. So triads do happen, and there are women and men who do want to get with couples. But number one, let them come to you, not the other way around. And number two, there is a reason why they are called unicorns, aka they're motherfucking rare.
Yeah.
So I added that part in.
Gotta make sure that you're both attracted to that person is attracted to both of you, that you're not, both of you, not one of you is jealous of that person. You don't feel threatened by that person. Speaking from experience. Just,
right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. So again, like if there is a woman who wants to get with you and your partner and you guys are open, awesome, but don't seek it out. So that was actually another thing too that this same person wrote it.
To the female to seek it out.
I mean, there we go. Like honestly, let the women negotiate that shit. So and then it was just concluded with, I hope you all find satisfaction in whatever dating style works for you. Thanks for giving me this platform to talk about polyamory and ethical non-monogamy.
And I'm gonna share one quick dating horror story.
Oh, girl, get it.
So,
Okay, you're done.
Before I met my current partner, when I met my late boyfriend, or I had met him, and we immediately, like, I can't remember if we had met yet, or if we had met, but I had already, like, booked a date, and, you know, I felt the need to follow through. And I met this person at this like little bougie like wine bar in Somerville, Mass. And I went on the date with him, and he seemed, you meet them in person, and you're like, I'm not really attracted to them. But he seemed cool for like conversation or whatever. And the thing is, I am a person that I'm way more attracted to personality more than anything. And anyway, I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't connecting, and I was like, this person we could be friends after or whatever. So he went to the bathroom, and I texted my late boyfriend. Because we hadn't met yet or whatever. Anyway, so I texted him. I said, you ruined guys for me. I said, this guy that I'm on a date with, he seems like he'd be more potential as a friend than boyfriend material or whatever. Well, it wasn't until after the date that I realized that I sent that text to the guy that I was on the date with.
No.
Anxiety.
Oh,
I sent it to him.
Oh, no.
And we paid Dutch on the date, and it was like after I left, I was like, oh, fuck. I sent that to him.
Oh, boy.
Never heard from him again.
Understandable. Oh, shit.
Felt so bad.
But I feel like we've all done that, where we were like, I'm going to send this text to this person, but we don't realize which tab is open on our phones.
I was literally talking to this about this sort of situation with my friends this morning. I don't think my friend listens to the podcast. So I'm in a group thread with my friends. So it's my friend Courtney and this couple that they're married, but both of them individually are my friends. So it's like 4 of us. And one of the wife's birthday is coming up. So it's just the 3 of us were like trying to plan birthday things for her. And they were like, oh shit, we almost thought that one of them had accidentally sent it to the wrong thread. Because like every day or every other day, we're all 4 of us texting each other.
Yeah.
Nothing incessant. It's just like things that we know that we're, anyway.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like how our anxiety might go through the roof of like, I know that I might have screenshotted a conversation with someone and sent it to someone else to be like, look at that. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Did I send it immediately to the person that I screenshotted.
Oh, God. So that actually, this will fit in with part 1 of this series. So I talk about the whole situation with like the class that I lost because like I wanted to get out of a very ungood situation. So before I got out of that situation, I had texted a friend about how I was ready to contact the company and be like, hey, let's have a one-on-one relationship because this third party is incompetent. I almost sent that to the third party instead.
You dumbass bitch.
I know, but I caught myself. For some reason, I think my little gut instinct was like, check which thread you're a part of right now. And I was like, oh no, I'm chatting with this third party right now. I'm not chatting with the friend that I wanted to complain about. So thank God, deleted that from that message and then sent it over.
Oh my God.
Also, I can't tell you the number of times that I've posted something in like a Facebook group or what have you, and I'm like, I do not want that on my like thread or anything like that, and I will like check the Facebook group like 50 fucking times because I'm like, yeah, okay, I posted it here, not on my personal page. I posted it here, not on my personal page, because that is some fucking shit. Like, you don't want that to happen.
So, talking about realities of dating when you're an adult. Abby put in here that meme about dating in your 30s is just sitting around telling stories about how you used to be cool.
Because that really is the case. Like, especially once you hit your 30s, like, you're working all the time. You might have a couple kids at this point. Yeah. Like, that's your life.
So I had a little write-in from one of our listeners wrote in about a horror story, but he originally wrote about his current girlfriend, Turtle. So my current girlfriend and I had an awesome first date after meeting on OkCupid, and we live together now. So, I mean, I think what was crazy about it more than anything after my divorce at least was just how different we look at dating now as opposed to in our 20s. We were both closer to 40 than 30, and both of us went into attempting serious dating like we didn't have time for bullshit. Because, I mean, dating at this age comes with past. It comes with lessons learned. So I think you have to go at it with a real idea of who you are more so than who you want to be. I'm not saying nobody can change after a certain age, but I'm more me now than I was me at 23. So it's less about how I can change this person to fit my mold of what I want, and more of what kind of tools do we have to fix anything that might come up. Not that you should ever change for anyone, because fuck that noise.
I like that.
Yeah. So definitely relatable. I don't think I left that. Just harping on, because, you know, me and Abby are now.
Oh my God, 33.
Oh
boy. We're mid-30s, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, we're not, though.
Oh, we're closing in. Like, But
the thing is that the age is all relative. It doesn't matter if you're 33 or 23.
Yeah.
If you know what you want.
You know what you want.
The thing is that it doesn't matter if, like, you're in your 30s, you don't have time for bullshit. Even in your 20s, you should not have time for bullshit.
Yeah.
Why not relish and be your, you know...
true, authentic self.
Yeah, be your authentic self. Speak your truth.
Right? As we've said in a previous episode.
Yeah, and just be honest about what you want, what you're looking for, and just saying what you're looking for. You know, you don't know. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right? I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Just be honest.
Exactly.
Cut out, like, why waste time playing fucking games of been like, I'm gonna wait. Well, you have the two spectrums. Like,
sometimes you do have to
wait 24 hours to, like, text back or whatever. But also, like, if you're super excited, you don't need to, like, text them within 5 seconds of the date.
Exactly. Like, find a balance.
Okay. Like, settle down.
Right. Like, learn when to slow your roll. Yeah. But at the same time, life is too fucking short. Whether you're 20 or 30 or 40, if you know you don't want to deal with bullshit, don't deal with bullshit.
Yeah. If you're just like, you know, I mean, it'd be like, hey, this obviously is working. I'm in. When's the next date?
There we go.
Yeah.
Nothing's
or to be
wrong
like,
with that.
or like if there's some things that you didn't be like, hey, you know, that date was great. I forgot to ask, how do you feel about kids? I want to know now. I don't need them now.
Yeah, but
Maybe
I want to
in 10
know.
years,
like,
but that's a rule breaker.
right?
Or be like, hey, you into anal play? If you're not, I'm really into that, and it's like make or break. If they're not, be like, all right, done.
Right? Like,
What are you into fetishes? Is that a make or break? Because I got fat life for real.
Right.
Or if you're a furry, I'm a furry. That's what it is.
Yeah,
How do you feel about costumes?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into, but you got to make sure that other people are into that too. Oh my.
Okay, I know you. Thank God we're the same person. So, huge example of this. If you have not watched, not everyone's a TV person, but I think you technically have cable, or did y'all get rid of it?
No, I got rid of cable.
Okay, so if you have Netflix, if you don't, get someone else's Netflix. If you don't, DM me. I will give you Abby's Netflix. I would have said my own, but now Michael's paying for it, and I pay for Disney Plus and Stars and whatever.
She'll give you
Hulu.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'll give you my Disney Plus. So, sex education.
Ooh, yes.
Is so relatable for this episode and last episode. If you have not watched it, watch it. It's a brilliant British series, which I think is a Netflix series.
I think so. It's original.
It's a British Netflix series. That's amazing, and it's like high school age, and it's so hilarious, so relatable to whatever age you are, high school, or you're middle-aged, or you're a grandparent, or a mother with high school kids, or what have you. It just talks about things that are so socially, culturally relevant right now, about healthy relationships and dating and trying it out and the start and the beginning. And it's just so funny. It's so good. Could not recommend it enough. Both seasons. Netflix.
Get on that.
Go
so
see.
basically, sex education and you get on Netflix and watch that. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
that wraps it up. Boom.
Yeah.
I think we're ready now. So
Okay.
let's do some cheersing.
So before we cheers,
Oh, yes.
so if you like listening to us, I think you'll like even more watching us, because I even like to, not only will I, because I have the time to go back and listen to these episodes, because, you know, someone's got to do some quality control besides Pat.
And I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Watching them is like next level, more enjoyable, because Pat adds some funny little things and likes to do some self-deprecating jokes for us, because it's necessary.
Right?
Keep it humble.
The video edits he does are top shelf, and it makes me sad that
Top shelf? We'll bring it down a notch.
they're medium shelf. They're medium shelf.
Medium shelf. Yeah. Like just a step down.
Right.
Below
But
the
they're not low shelf.
overpriced.
Yeah.
Jose Cuervo, you don't deserve to be top shelf.
Right.
Even if you are. Anyway. So watch us on YouTube.
Seriously.
Leave comments. Watch us. Hit a like button.
Right.
Facebook.
Subscribe, bitch.
Yeah, subscribe. That's subscribe.
Right.
Even if, whatever. Facebook.
Right. Cheers to adulting.
Leave comments, likes, share it, whatever.
We post memes like all the time.
Yeah. And our Twitter is way more active. Thank you
Right?
to me.
Her primarily for every one tweet I do. She does or do like 10 of them. So like it's really up. It's all thanks to
Well,
her.
because I don't have a life. So that, and then if you want to email us suggestions, thank you to Erin again for suggesting this past 2 episode content, which ended up being like a great one.
Exactly. And thank you to those who wrote in like the
Yes,
long
thank you.
Like, holy shit. Like, cheers to adulting @gmail.com. We read our emails. We obviously read them on our fucking podcast, so do it.
Also, hopefully in the future, we more than likely will be having some sponsors and ads. And also, if you don't want that to happen, kindly
Give us your money.
donate to give us your money. Reach out to our Patreon,
which is a very indirect
Patreon
of saying give us your money.
/cheers to adulting.
Exactly.
Give us your money. Even if it's
you know
$1, $2,
Exactly.
whatever.
You're supporting us. And again, we do this from, this is a passion of love. This is a labor of love. It costs money to do this. And we really just like, you know what, fine, we'll shell out these dollars per month.
Drinking isn't free.
Yeah, drinking isn't free, everybody. As is podcast hosting and the guests to get here and editing and all that lovely stuff.
Yeah.
So it really, we do this because we love it.
A labor of love.
A labor of love for real.
For real.
So honestly, any dollars you send our way would honestly just be balancing out the costs.
And
That's
then
it.
eventually we can pay the people, Pat,
Right?
do the work for us.
Like the hard fucking work. Like we're here prattling at you guys. Like Pat's the one
And then
who
we
has
just
to
throw it into the universe to Pat to edit and make into something listenable.
Exactly. So if we can give him some dollars, like that would be wonderful.
$1, yo.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Money.
Oh,
Money.
Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Twitter, cheers
Cheers
two.
to adulting. And Instagram, cheers to adulting podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Let's get on that.
All right, and on that note,
On
cheers.
that note, to adulting.
That wasn't here. Let's do the glasses.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers
To
to
adulting.
adulting. And now we drink from our cans.
Cheers to adulting.